Hey, Travels with Dottie here, and I have 5 things they don't tell you when you go to Boondock in Quartzsite, Arizona. 5 things I didn't know about, but you're going to know about them before you get there. Number one is walking out in the desert. Well, you might think, well, it's the desert, it's smooth sand. Well, it's not. Not that desert. It's rocky. And what do I mean by rocky? Do I mean little tiny pebbles? Yes. Do I mean medium sized rocks? Yes. Do I mean big rocks? Yes. It's every variety everywhere. And you need to have the right footwear. It's not UGG or flip flop friendly, except maybe right around your front door if you've cleared stuff away. But if you want to do any walking in the desert, you have to have the proper footwear. And the best would be shoes made for that, like hiking shoes or really sturdy um, walking shoes. I spend quite a bit of money on my shoes and I want to be sure footed. So walking is can be kind of a big deal. And if you're at all unsteady on your feet, if you're my age or older, and you don't have the kind of balance that you used to have, that can be quite a challenge. And you may want to think about, is he going to say cane? No, he's not going to say cane because we don't call them canes in Quartzsite. We call them hiking sticks. Yeah, they make hiking sticks and hiking poles, sometimes in pairs. But if you're going to go walking in the desert and you're not absolutely 100% sure of your balance, there is no shame in a walking stick or hiking stick, and grab one. There are plenty of people out there with them. And those are people that don't fall and break something. A good friend of mine, right in camp, right in camp with everybody else, took a fall and broke her arm. No kidding. Serious subject. Second thing they didn't tell me about was nighttime. Well, no, not that nighttime comes. We all know nighttime comes wherever you are, pretty much, unless you're at the extreme north or south on the planet. Nighttime comes. But here's what's special about nighttime in Quartzsite in the desert. While I may easily be able to find my way to my camp during the day, and don't get me wrong, in the very beginning, I was getting lost during the day trying to get to my camp, but I got used to it. You get used to it, it's fairly easy to find your rig. Here's the big thing with night, though. If you leave during the day and you come back at night, good luck finding your rig. Good luck finding your camp. It is not easy. I've been coming to the same spot in Quartzsite. This will be my 4th year. And last year, I got lost in my truck at night, like 100 yards away from my camp. Yeah, 100 yards away. It was that. If there's a little bit of cloud cover, no moon, it's dark out there. And I don't know how many times I've been sitting with friends around a campfire and had a car slowly come up and someone get out and say, "Can you help me? I'm lost. I don't know how to get to my camper. I don't know how to get out of here. I don't know how to get to the main road." So easy. They didn't tell me about night. The other thing is you're set up in one of the LTVAs maybe, and you want to go into town and you think, if I leave all my stuff here, is anything going to be here when I get back? Well, crime is not that big a problem in Quartzsite, and don't let people tell you that it is. It's got statistically a high crime rate because it measures the crimes reported against the population, which is only 2,500 people. Somewhere on, it's like 1 million visitors come through in the winter, though, so that throws that statistic way off. In all my years of coming to Quartzsite and interacting with people at Boondock, I've never heard a story about someone coming back and something being gone from their campsite. Does it happen? Sure it does. Here's my policy. One is I try to camp with other people. That may not be your cup of tea, so this may not work for you. But when I leave You know, if my buddy Tim is around, hey, Tim, I'm going into town. Keep an eye out. No problem. You're not camped around other people. Don't leave really valuable stuff just sitting out by your camp. If there's like a generator, buy a heavy duty cable lock and lock it up like I do. My generator sits out all season, but it's locked. I mean, can somebody cut through that? Or my e-bike, it's locked to the side of my rig. Can someone snap that and run away with it? Yeah. But most thieves are thieves of opportunity, and they look for things they can just grab and run with. And if you make that difficult, they're going to go on to the next one. So I've never had a problem, haven't met anybody that's had a problem, but it's not a topic that came up before I came out there. Wind. All right. What you do hear about is, hey, there can be windstorms. It could be 70, 80 miles an hour. I mean, I've seen it as high as gusts of 70 when I've been out there. And that's kind of a no-brainer. You got to take precautions and batten down the hatches and be prepared. But what we don't really talk about is the day-to-day sustained winds that run anywhere from 3 to 20 miles per hour, depending on the day. Is that going to blow your rig over? No. But if you like people that like putting those like outdoor carpeting thing, it's going to go all over the place unless you get those big spikes and pound it into the ground and make sure the wind's not going to take that away. And even a light wind, if you just leave chairs out willy-nilly, they're going to topple over. Anything else light that you could end up losing for good or find it, 100 yards away or something. So just be mindful that don't just worry about the big windstorms. You need to worry about the day-to-day wind. And the other thing the day-to-day wind does is it blows dust and dirt and all kinds of things out in the desert into your rig, and you're forever. If you're a clean freak, you're not going to do well boondocking in the desert because you're constantly going to be dusting. So the last thing, salt in the water. Okay, I go to the LTVA, I plop down my $180, and I said, for the whole season, I can park anywhere I want. I can get as much free drinking water as I want. And yeah, the water's safe to drink. And I can do garbage. I can dump garbage. I can dump my black tanks. What a deal. And I fill up my tanks with that water. Well, if you go into town, they advertise water for sale that is salt-free. There's a reason they sell it that way, because the salt content, and I've tried to do research to tell, so I can tell you exactly what the readings are. If anybody knows, put it in the comment and give me a resource that I can look at. It has a high salt content. That's general knowledge. What I do know is that I had propane flame problems with not only my stove, but my heater, where the flames are supposed to be blue. That's healthy propane combustion. They were orange. That's unhealthy propane combustion, and it's not good and can be dangerous. And I finally figured out the reason my flames on 2 devices in the RV were orange. It was because I was putting LTVA water into my humidifier. I'm prone to nosebleeds, so I run a humidifier. And the salt content was getting into the air, and it was turning my flames orange. How do I know this for sure? Because I tested the theory by turning it off, waiting, and everything was blue. And then I took a salt shaker and shook it over one of my flames on the stove, immediately turned orange. So here's another thing, and I do not have a reputable basis to say this, but it makes some logical sense. I don't know what the salt content is in that water. I don't. I wish I could find out. However, we do know there's salt. So if you have high blood pressure, they urge you to have a low salt diet because, right, salt causes you to retain fluids in your body. And the more, and this part I know is true, if you have something that is retaining moisture in your body, in other words, you're going to have more moisture in your bloodstream, that will increase your blood pressure. So it follows that if the LTVA water has really high salinity in it, even if it doesn't taste like, salt water from the ocean, potentially if you have hypertension, that could aggravate that and increase your blood pressure. Again, don't have all the facts and figures to back that up, but I have hypertension. I won't drink that water. I'm not taking the risk, and I'm not even willing to do the experiment. So the water is potable, it's drinkable, a high salt. It obviously doesn't have a salt content that's considered dangerous by anybody, because I'm sure the LTVA tests the drinking water, or if it fell outside guidelines, then they wouldn't mark it as being drinkable water. That's a lot of faith I have in my government, don't I? But anyway, there are your 5 things, and I hope it prepares you if you're going to come out and join us in Quartzsite. Take care.